From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
We've been fighting for 2 years to have it tore down. Cameron Riddle started the fight about a year ago with us. And finally this morning, they're actually tearing it down and keeping their word.
A house that has become a problem property has been demolished after a year of WRTV reporting. We show you the kind of relief this is bringing to a local neighborhood.
New details released about a police-involved shooting this weekend. What investigators say was happening as IMPD arrived at this scene. The Attorney General's office has filed a lawsuit against a Greenfield headstone company. I'm Kara Kenny. Will tell you what it means for grieving families who are still waiting for headstones and refunds.
This is their community, and we are empowering them to give back to their own community.
A new effort to help kids in difficult situations become leaders in their communities, the new program, and what it offers.
Welcome into WRTV News at 6 on this Monday. I'm Amanda Starantino.
And I'm Mark Mullins. First at 6 o'clock tonight, it is a day of celebration in a South Side neighborhood. A house that neighbors say is only riddled with problems, home to problems, was demolished after years of complaints to the city. WRTV reporter Cameron Riddle has been reporting on the issues with this property for the past year. And tonight, Cameron joins us live from what's left of that house. Cameron.
Hey, Mark, good evening. Neighbors here on Harlan Street are very, very happy tonight. It has been a year since they first called me out to check out what was a nuisance of a home. It was this time last year that used needles were found on the sidewalk as one of the neighborhood kids was getting on the school bus. Now tonight, the neighbors who live on this block say their entire neighborhood has been improved. Katrina Cunningham and Robin Wood Gebhardt are two of the neighbors who have consistently called the city and WRTV in an effort to get this place knocked down. Over the past year, we've done a series of stories on this address. First, after those needles were found, and then after squatters returned to the house, which partially collapsed after a fire last year. WRTV took their concerns to the mayor's office, which informed us the house had been slated for demolition since 2018 and could actually be demolished by the end of 2019 or then the early part of 2020. When that did not happen, we were back here again, and here again last month, and again earlier this month. Delay after delay, neighbors here say they would not believe that the house is actually going to be torn down until after it is torn down. After our latest reporting this month, neighbors woke up to the sound of semi-trucks and bulldozers.
The house is finally coming down. Finally, after it was burnt down 2 years ago this month, and we've been fighting with the city for the past year or so, trying to get it down because we found needles at the bus stop over here, vagrants, kids climbing in and out. We're just waiting for someone to get hurt, and finally it's down.
Well, as the construction crews were out here earlier this morning, I was speaking with them around 9:30. He says, hey, as we were actually knocking down this house, we did a walkthrough. We yelled inside, checked to see if anyone was actually inside. We didn't hear from anybody. But as soon as they started knocking down the back wall of this property, they said a man ran out saying he was still living inside and would need about an hour to get his stuff out. That just shows you right there how active this house was. Reporting live tonight on the South Side, I'm Cameron Riddle, WRTV.
Cameron, thanks for getting those results. Moving to a developing story, IMPD releases new details surrounding a police-involved shooting on the east side over the weekend. Metro Police say a social media disagreement on Sunday led to a fight involving about 20 people in the 4500 block of Pleasant Run Parkway, North Drive. Officers say some people were armed with guns, pepper spray, scissors, and metal pipes. Police arriving on the scene encountered shots being fired in multiple directions and saw a man running to a car with a gun. According to IMPD, that man pointed a weapon at officers. An IMPD officer then shot the man. Other officers provided first aid and medics took him to a hospital. The man has since been released and is under arrest. IMPD says the man who pointed a weapon at officers and another woman allegedly shot 2 women before police arrived. The 2 women who were shot are stable.
Moving to weather now, it is a beautiful evening outside. A good night for a walk, but it is still dry and we need that rain. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory is here to help you prepare for the rest of your evening and on into your Tuesday morning. Hey, Kevin.
And Mark, you mentioned it's dry. This is how dry. Over the last 34 days, enough to get the street wet. That's really about it in Indianapolis. 0.04 of an inch with no prospects for a soaking rain in the forecast. We'll talk about rain opportunities here in a second. Of course, as the leaves are falling, you don't want to burn any leaves or brush piles with the dry conditions and low humidity. That brings an increased fire risk. Speaking of the fires, out west, the smoke has been transported all the way across the country. So I think we'll notice tomorrow at the higher levels, hazy sunshine. The haze will be that layer of smoke well above ground level. 75 in Indy right now, 75 in Greenwood. It's beautiful. Temperatures the next 3 days, a model of consistency. That's what really the last month has been. Temperatures in the 70s for highs. So what does change and when will it happen? We'll focus on all that coming up.
New developments tonight in a story WRTV investigates. First brought you last month about a Greenfield headstone business accused of taking people's money and not finishing the job. The Indiana Attorney General's office has filed a lawsuit against Greenfield Granite and is taking action to stop the company from removing or selling any headstones on the property. WRTV investigates. Kara Kenny has been tracking this and joins us now with what this means for grieving families.
The Indiana Attorney General's office filed a 40-page lawsuit against Greenfield Granite, accusing the company of violating the Indiana Deceptive Consumer Sales Act. WRTV Investigates first raised questions about Greenfield Granite's business practices on August 20th. We introduce you to grieving families awaiting headstones and refunds, like Sheila Carson, who ordered her mother's headstone from Greenfield Granite over a year ago, but it was never placed.
We've missed all these holidays with her to, somewhere to go and visit and put flowers out. And it's been excuse after excuse.
On September 8th, the company's owner, Amy Stroll, died by suicide amid a criminal investigation. With the company's future in flux, Sheila and other families are concerned the company may try to sell or get rid of their loved ones' gravestones. Sheila shared with us this picture of her mother's finished headstone sitting outside of Greenfield Granite over the weekend. On Friday, the Attorney General's office filed this lawsuit accusing the company of deceptive practices and also filed for a temporary restraining order.
So a temporary restraining order is filed to ask the court to say, hey, let's put everything on pause, let's put everything on hold, and require the individuals associated with the company not to do things, not to distribute any assets, not to write any checks, not to do anything along those lines, to allow for the court to take a deeper dive, a deeper look into what's going on.
A judge agreed, so that means Greenfield Granite can't remove or dispose of any property until a hearing can be held. The AG's office is also seeking more than $20,000 in restitution for customers and to help families get their headstones if possible. While Stroll's death will make things more complicated, the AG's office is confident it can help consumers get some resolution. The Attorney General's office is asking anyone with a complaint against Greenfield Granite to file a complaint with their office at indianaconsumer.com. Working for you, Kara Kenny, WRTV.
WRTV Investigates is working on getting a response from Greenfield Granite. A court hearing is scheduled for next Tuesday in Hancock County Court.
We are now learning that two teen brothers from Carmel and a Kokomo man died after a plane crashed into a cornfield near Kokomo Airport. The plane crash happened Sunday. Investigators say 15-year-old Reese David Kelly, 17-year-old Liam Patrick Kelly, and the plane's pilot, 63-year-old Gerald Allen Long, died in the crash. A third teenager was in the plane. He survived and is stable tonight. The Howard County Sheriff's Office says a preliminary investigation determined Long was piloting the plane and approaching the airstrip from the north for landing when the plane hit a large high-tension wooden power line pole. Investigators say this caused the aircraft to nosedive into the cornfield and catch fire. The Sheriff's Office says the three teenagers on board were members of a club called the Flying Squirrels, who were flying prior to the annual Glendale Days Barbecue Bash charity event. And the Kelly brothers were members of the Westfield High School track and cross-country teams. Today, the team tweeted, quote, "We are overwhelmed with grief as we announce the tragic passing of Liam and Reese Kelly. Our friends, our teammates, our brothers, we love you, we will miss you, and we will carry you with us forever," end quote.
An update tonight on how COVID-19 is impacting Indiana. Here are the latest numbers. The State Department of Health reports 535 additional cases of coronavirus, which is actually fewer additional cases than the state reported yesterday. But remember, these numbers are usually lower on Mondays because of reduced reporting on the weekends. So far, a total of 112,027 people in Indiana have been diagnosed with COVID-19, and the Department of Health confirmed 7 additional deaths. Since the pandemic began, 3,287 Hoosiers have died of coronavirus, and more than 1,300,000 people in the state have been tested for COVID-19. 8.6% of them tested positive for the virus. Data from the state also shows that about 44% of Indiana's ICU beds are available. COVID-19 patients are using around 10% of the ICU beds. Non-COVID-19 patients are using 46% of those beds. 82% of the state's ventilators are available as well.
Hiring Hoosiers is our commitment to connect you to the jobs and resources you need. Let's get to the job feed. The Mad Hatter is a chimney sweep and repair company in Indianapolis. They want to hire a chimney service technician. The company says carpentry and mechanical skills are desirable, and you must have the ability to climb ladders without the fear of heights and be able to lift a minimum of 80 pounds. Hendrickson is a company in Boone County that designs and manufactures suspension systems and components for heavy-duty trucks and trailers. They need assembly line staff, welders, and forklift operators. You can connect with the Hendrickson through the website workinboone.com, or you can attend their in-person job fair tomorrow, September 22nd from 1 to 6 p.m. Pro Resources Staffing Service is looking for a warehouse delivery driver for a small warehouse in Plainfield. You can learn more about these jobs and find other open positions through our website, hiringhoosiers.com, and through the Hiring Hoosiers Facebook page. And tomorrow is our Hiring Hoosiers Employment Opportunity Fair. It starts at noon and it's free. Companies looking to hire include FedEx, First Merchants Bank, Indianapolis Airport Authority, Lowe's, and many more. For more info and to register, go to indianablackexpo.com.
A new program aims to help kids who are living in difficult situations become leaders in their community. We're going to show you how it all works.
A win and a loss, all on the same Sunday. It feels like that for the Colts. Coming up, hear about the latest injury that's taking another player out of the starting lineup.
And the rain from Arkansas to the Gulf Coast with the tropical system. So when's our chance for rain? I'll show you coming up.
A local organization is getting a financial boost to expand their work with kids in vulnerable communities and bring a service learning program into 2 Indianapolis schools. WRTV's Megan Sanctorum explains how the program works and the impact leaders hope it has on students.
It will guide me through school in a good way.
This is Nizer Baker. He's a 6th grader here at Kindesi Academy on Keystone and 34th. He's just one of several students applying to be part of a program here with ProAct Indy.
Challenges that we are trying to solve for schools is that a lot of vulnerable kids that come from vulnerable populations, they don't have access to programs like this.
Darren Slack is the founder of ProAct Indy. They just received $25,000 from a nonprofit called the Mind Trust to help address that.
You think of the National Honor Societies, the Rotaracts, the Key Clubs, they all target a certain demographic, and it's usually the kids that are already called leaders. ProAct doesn't do that. We want the kids that are in the margins, that don't really have anything to connect to.
Those kids will take part in weekly leadership and social equality workshops. Students will also participate in community service projects, and eventually they'll plan their own project to address an issue they feel their community is facing. School leaders say it will help them take what they learn in the classroom and put those skills into action.
I probably use them a lot.
How can they leverage that leadership to really impact the way poverty faces their community and learn how to come up with projects and solutions for some of the issues that they see?
The hope is that we want our kids to find themselves and discover who they are as individuals, discover where they see themselves aligning with how they can address issues in the community and then find their passions and then live out their passions through service.
Students like Baker say they're already excited to see what change they may be able to create in the community.
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, WRTV.
In Democracy 2020, the November election is quickly approaching, so we want to remind you of the important dates you need to know. Election Day is November 3rd. Voter registration ends on October 5th, 2 weeks from today. Early voting begins October 6th. If you need to take part in absentee voting by mail, you should file an application for a ballot immediately. The deadline to turn in your ballot application is October 22nd. Then when you get your absentee ballot, you must have it filled out and turned into county election officials by noon on Election Day, which again is November 3rd. And we have all of this information, plus everything else you need to know to get ready for the general election, all in one location. Just go to WRTV.com/vote in 2020. Kevin.
Amanda, since rain is probably on your mind and everyone else's, when are we going to see it? Let's talk about possibilities here. Down in the Gulf Coast, that's where all the rain is going to be over the next couple of days from the tropical storm that sits just to the southwest of Houston. It will move very slowly, and there's the projected path through Louisiana into Mississippi, then southern Tennessee by the end of the work week. All indications are the deep moisture, the better rain will stay well south of central Indiana. I'll put this in motion from tomorrow morning. We'll just follow that rain. And notice it's not surging to the north and east very quickly. It's going to stay to the south. There you are by the time we get to the end of the week or into Thursday. As we look at our weekend, there's more of an opportunity for some showers and thunderstorms. Put it at about 40% by the time we get to Sunday. The all-familiar temperatures are there for you, still very comfortable. We put the timeline in motion from Saturday morning through the weekend. I think as we get into Sunday, the probability of rain will be a little bit higher. See that line from Chicago up into the UP of Michigan and then kind of thins out into southwest Missouri. We'll see if that can hold together and bring some rain. I don't want to pick your hopes up too high, but any rain is welcome. But I just don't think it will be the soaking rain that we need to kind of turn things around from our very dry stretch. Temperatures tomorrow with sunshine in the 70s, almost 80 though, along the Wabash River, anywhere from Lafayette on down through Terre Haute and Vincennes. Otherwise, about average for this time of year. These are the current temperatures, which will be about the same as during the day tomorrow. 49 tonight, sky clear. The wind will be light. The temperature's cooler in spots. There were areas that were in the low, 40 degrees in both Kokomo and Muncie this morning. It's 37 in Columbus. Tomorrow, it's mid-70s for the high. Again, that hazy sunshine due to the smoke in the atmosphere. Temperatures about average. 7-day forecast. As you see this unveiled, we've got a very low chance for rain, mainly in the southern third of the state. Thursday, the better chance for rain for all of us would be Saturday and Sunday. We'll hold on to a chance of rain on Monday, but notice how cool high temperatures will be again as we get to early next week. Lower 70s and 50s for lows.
And goodbye to summer. All right, thanks, Kevin. Sunday's week 2 of the NFL season saw several injuries to high-profile players all over the league, and the Colts were not able to escape that list.
The team did get a win over the Vikings, though, but as Brad Brown shows us, the Colts will need a lot more of their next man up attitude.
It's hard to say if a crowd of 2,500 is home field advantage, but the Colts seem to have an extra bit of energy at home for week 2. But amid all of Sunday's success comes a couple of tough losses to the roster. Wide receiver Paris Campbell, who missed so much of 2019 with at least 4 different injuries, was carted off the field in the first quarter. A knee ligament injury, but the team is leaving the door open for a return for Campbell later this season.
We're going to just continue to evaluate his injury, really to make the determination on his status. So we'll leave that up to the doctors. Not sure if he's going to need a procedure yet, but we'll defer to our doctors and training staff there. And then obviously with Hook, with Malik, unfortunately, he did have an Achilles injury that will end the season. You know, obviously, I just talked to Malik a little bit ago. Feel awful for him. He was really, had a great offseason and was playing well.
Now some good news. Tight end Mo Alley Cox proved to be a worthy next man up with Jack Doyle out. His first look of the game was a miscue that led to a Vikings interception, but no harm done when the Colts D made a stand. After that, it was only positive momentum, with Phillip Rivers finding Mo over and over.
Going out, just working hard every day. I mean, since the day I got back, just getting a bunch of reps at whatever he asked me to do. So this week, had a good week of practice, and we made a bunch of those same plays in practice, and we just try to carry it over to the game.
Well, Mo, obviously he had a little slight start to training camp and just working his way back from an injury. But Mo's a big man. I mean, he's a big man in street clothes. You see him in uniform, and he stands out.
The other spark came from rookie runner Jonathan Taylor. After a record-setting career at Wisconsin, we knew he could handle the workload. We found out Sunday that he was up to the task of getting the yards here as well.
Kind of have to have that focus and understand, like, hey, I mean, you got to make sure you're on point every single play. And all you got to do is do it one play at a time. You don't need to think, about the previous play. You don't need to think about, the next play, the next two plays. All you got to do is worry about the play that you're in, do your job that play, and if you do it every play, then you should be in good hands.
Alley Cox and Taylor each went over 100 yards on Sunday. The last time the Colts had a 100-yard rusher and receiver in the same game? How about December 2010? Joseph Adai and Pierre Garçon against Washington. A certain guy named Peyton was quarterback then. And we've got Monday Night Football tonight on WRTV. The Saints and the Raiders playing the first game at the new Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Live coverage starts tonight at 8 o'clock. The game will be followed by the news at 11. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
Comfortable and dry the next 3 days. Enjoy. We'll be back at 7 after World News tonight. Thanks for watching.